Shalom. We continue now with Psalm 44. For the leader of the Korachites, a maskil. We have heard, O God, our fathers have told us the deeds you performed in their time, in days of old. With your hand you planted them, displacing nations. You brought misfortune on peoples and drove them out. It was not by their sword that they took the land. Their arm did not give them victory, but your right hand, your arm, and your goodwill, for you favored them. You are my king, O God. Decree victories for Jacob. Through you we gore our foes. By your name we trample our adversaries. I do not trust in my bow. It is not my sword that gives me victory. You give us victory over our foes. You thwart those who hate us. In God we glory at all times and praise your name unceasingly, Selah. Yet you have rejected and disgraced us. You do not go with our armies. You make us retreat before our foe. Our enemies plunder us at will. You let them devour us like sheep. You disperse us among the nations. You sell your people for no fortune. You set no high price on them. You make us the butt of our neighbors, the scorn and derision of those around us. You make us a byword among the nations, a laughingstock among the peoples. I am always aware of my disgrace. I am wholly covered with shame at the sound of taunting revilers in the presence of the vengeful foe. All this has come upon us, yet we have not forgotten you or been false to your covenant. Our hearts have not gone astray, nor have our feet swerved from your path. Though you cast us crushed to where the sea monster is and covered us over with deepest darkness. If we forgot the name of our God and spread forth our hands to a foreign God, God would surely search it out, for he knows the secrets of the heart. It is for your sake that we are slain all day long, that we are regarded as sheep to be slaughtered. Rouse yourself. Why do you sleep, O Lord? Awaken, do not reject us forever. Why do you hide your face, ignoring our affliction and distress? We lie prostrate in the dust. Our body clings to the ground. Arise and help us. Redeem us, as befits your faithfulness. There is a well-known verse from the book of Lamentations that is recited whenever we replace the book of the Torah, the Sefer Torah, in the Ark on Shabbat and on festivals. And the verse goes like this: Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu kekedem. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha, turn us to you, O God, v'nashuva, and or that we may return. Chadesh Yameinu kekedem, renew our days as of old. I'm reminded of that verse when I read this psalm, because the psalmist begins with a reminiscence, a kind of a reflection on the good old days, how wonderful it must have been in days of old when the people and God were so in sync, when God fought their battles for them, when God was behind them so that they could conquer the land of Canaan. There is an old legend or midrash that explains that one of the reasons why God had to keep the Israelites enslaved in Egypt for so long was because God did not feel justified in bringing them up to the land of Canaan to conquer the 7 Canaanite nations there until the evil and depravity of those 7 nations had reached its absolute low point. Only then did God feel justified in bringing the people up and allowing them to conquer the land. So, looking back on the days of old, the psalmist takes heart, but then he connects the fate of his ancestors with his own fate when he feels that unjustified, God has hidden God's face and turned away from God's people. According to the psalmist, they don't deserve what they are getting. They are disgraced among the nations. They are a laughingstock among their neighbors. They have been regarded as sheep to be slaughtered, slain by a cruel and evil enemy. The martyrs of Israel throughout our troubled past were martyrs because they refused to give up their faith and their religion. They maintained a faith in God, and they were slaughtered as a result. This happened during the medieval times, during the Crusades, and other times. It happened in Eastern Europe. It happened in Western Europe, culminating in, of course, the most horrific of all catastrophes for the Jewish people, the Shoah, in the 20th century. Many people think of the Jews who were led by the Nazis like sheep to be slaughtered in the death camps. And many of us wonder, how could it be that God could abandon God's people and hide God's face and cut them off to be slaughtered like sheep? It is incomprehensible. It is impossible to understand. And yet, in any relationship among human beings, there are times when one partner might be searching and yearning and longing for the attention and for the love of the other, and the other may be inaccessible. The other may seem hidden. And there are times when the other is looking for love and support and attention from the first, and the first person, the first partner, appears hidden and inaccessible, as if they are cut off. The longing still is there. That longing is a function of the love that one partner holds for the other. In situations today, in families such as divorce, or times when parents abandon their children continue to feel a deep longing and love, even though it may be matched by the depth of anger at the parent who has abandoned them. And that doesn't mean that the parent doesn't feel love for the child either. There may have been reasons for the separation that were absolutely necessary, and yet the longing remains, and the love is still there, even when one side or one partner is distant or appears to be inaccessible. The psalmist challenges God, "Awake, wake up. Why do you sleep? Don't reject us forever. Pay attention to us. Why do you hide your face? You ignore our affliction and distress. Arise and help us. Redeem us as befits your faithfulness." It is God's nature to be faithful. It is not, it appears, God's nature to neglect or forsake God's people. And so too in human relationships. There are times when in these relationships and through the alienations or separations that may occur, hopefully the love burns through. And it is that love that persists, and the faithfulness that is found in the hearts of the partners is not extinguished, and they are eventually reunited, and they are eventually reconciled. In today's world, in the darkness of what we experience today, when we are separated by so many of our loved ones because of the COVID-19, when our hearts yearn for them and they may long for us, we may feel cut off from them, they may feel cut off from us. But the longing, the yearning are there, the love remains, and our love and yearning for God will see us through. Through that love and through that yearning, tomorrow, God willing, will be a better day. Thank you.